Hello, today's tutorial will be how to make these super cute little mini roll cake amigurumis. I guess they're not really amigurumi, you'll see it's not actually stuffed, but let's begin. I made a few different ones to show you how different techniques can make it slightly different. So first, what you need is you need some thin yarn. So I got all of these ones, which are actually slightly different, but almost the same thickness. So a very thin weight, the same one you would use for amigurumi, as well as a crochet hook. This one is a 3mm. You will need a tapestry needle to sew in the ends. Oops. You will need a pair of scissors and some glue. You can use hot glue, but I use Scotch glue. All right, let's get started. So first we're gonna start with the colored part of the roll cake. So I'm gonna do purple, because as you can see, I have 2 pink, 2 blue, and I'm gonna make one more little purple one here. So to begin, we will make a slip knot. And we will chain 50. So 50 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. And you can check out my tutorial video of how to make a slip stitch and how to make a chain stitch if you don't know. And then we have 50 chains, so it looks like this. Now we are going to go across for row 1 with single crochet. So there will be a total of 49 single crochets because we are not going to single crochet into this first stitch. So instead of the first stitch, we're gonna start with this second chain. So go into the second chain, do a single crochet, and then continue single crocheting all the way across to the end. So row 1 is single crochet. And again, if you do not know how to do a single crochet stitch, I have in this playlist another video of how to do the single crochet stitch. So row 1, we're going to single crochet all the way down. Now these little tiny roll cakes can be made into key rings, or they can be used to add on to really any project. So we're gonna choose how many rows we do based on what you will use it for. So it's actually quite simple. You don't need to know many stitches. And as you go, it will a little bit roll up there as you go, but that's okay. So you don't have to worry about that. Just continue all the way to the end with single crochets. If you hear the little pitter-patter of feet in the background, that's my little puppy curious about who I'm talking to, because no one else is here right now except for me and the camera. Okay, we're about halfway there. And I apologize, I'm not skipping ahead because my video editing skills are not quite up to par for that yet. I've tried on some other videos and it was challenging, so I'm just gonna do this with you all the way, and you actually can see then the actual time it will take to make this whole project from the start to the beginning, or from the start to the end. And please put questions or comments, if you have any, at the bottom. Most of my other videos I do for the children, so they aren't allowed to have comments. But crochet is for all ages, so anyone can watch this and share it and comment. And thank you for supporting me. But I do these videos to share the love of crochet with those in my crochet club, or for my students, or anyone curious to learn. This is my real hobby. I love crochet. All right, we're almost at the end of the first row. Last 3 stitches. When you get to the end, the very last stitch here, you will chain 1, and turn. So the first row is finished. It should look like this. Row 2 is exactly the same as row 1. We're going to single crochet all the way across. For row 2, again, I'm going to not go into this first little one. I will start here. And I actually like to go through both loops of the V for my single crochet. So the front and back loop, I go through the bottom of both of those when I make this project. If you go through just the front loop or just the back loop, you will have a little bit of a line in your roll cake rolls. You won't really see that, but for me, I like the smoother, cleaner look without the line. So I go through both. So again, row 2, we are on row 2 right now. Single crochet, 49 single crochets, all the way down to the end. Now, you can make this to be a thick roll cake. Oh, my roll cake has rolled away. Here we go. So this pink one, I did it pretty thick. And this other one here, I did it just to show you, is a little bit thinner. So this one has only 2 rows. The thicker one is actually going to be 3 rows. So you can choose to do 2 rows or 3 rows. If your yarn is a little bit thinner, you might have to do the 3 rows just to make it look the same as the 2 row for the pink that I just showed you. But again, it's up to your preference. And that is actually all we do for the colored portion of this roll cake. So to make the colored part, you just need to know how to do a slip stitch, a chain, and single crochet. And if I talk less, I might be able to do it faster here. And again, it's starting to curl as we go, but that's okay. It's gonna be rolled up anyways to make the roll cake. Now, if you don't have glue, you probably could actually sew the parts together, but I like the tight look it gets with glue holding all the layers together. When we roll it up, you will see what I mean. We are coming to the end of row 2 here. And again, based on your level, you might be able to do this faster than I. And I guess if you're chatting less, but the whole colored part of this takes about 10 minutes. So this is the end of row 2. I like to go in that very last stitch too, even though it's a bit tight. Yeah, there we go. Okay, at the end of row 2, we're going to chain 1, turn it around. Row 2 is going to look like this. Now row 3, again, single crochet. Wow, pretty easy, right? So again, row 3, now we're just going to do single crochet all the way across. So again, 49 single crochets all the way across. So as you can see, the 3 is a little bit thicker than the 2. And it's your preference. If you only want to do 2, you would already be done this part of the roll. You can finish off and weave in the ends. Now, I am a person who likes to always weave in the ends as I go so that I don't have a bunch of end weaving to do at the end of my project, because that is my least favorite, maybe the only thing I don't like about crochet. There are some types of yarn I'm not fond of working with, and weaving in ends, that's it. I love all other parts of crochet. So relaxing crocheting. Use it as a stress relief. I like to keep my fingers busy when I am watching a movie or something, which sometimes turns into listening to a movie because I am crocheting, not really watching the movie. But when you get more advanced, you can do some projects without looking at your crochet, or pause and take turns. Speaking of not looking, I keep not looking at the camera here, so I apologize if it's sometimes out of focus or out of view. But we're almost to the end of the 3rd row. It's very curly, that's okay. Now, if you can believe it, we are going to do a very similar technique for the icing, the inner color of the cake. And then we just roll them together. I like this project because it has no stuffing. All right, we've come to the end. Cut off your string. Pull the loop through, tighten it up, and it shall look like this. This is the first part of your cake. It is finished, the colored part. Yay. All right, I'm gonna quickly weave my ends in, so that's why we needed a tapestry needle. So to weave in your ends, oh my. Just attach the tapestry needle. You don't even need to tie it on. Go through one way and then skip a stitch and go back the opposite way to just weave in those ends and cut it off. one more. And again, this is all going to be glued, so you won't see it if you didn't do it as pretty as you usually do for weaving in ends, but I like to do it properly. All right, so next what I like to do is I am going to pin it onto, if you have a foam board or a piece of cardboard is what I'm using. I just pin it up so that it will be easier to glue, because if it's left all roly-poly, then it will be a little bit finicky to work with when you try to add the glue. It'll keep rolling on you. So I'm just going to pin it here so it stays flat. Put that aside. And then we are going to move on to the inner color. So I have kind of a cream, almondy cream color and a white. So I'm just going to use white for today. So exactly the same as the colored part. We start with a slip knot. However, this time we are going to chain only 40. So 40 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Now row 1, again, we skip that first stitch. We go into the next stitch here. Skip, go in, and we will do single crochets all the way across. So 39 single crochets will be row 1. And my white yarn here is a little bit of a better quality yarn than my purple yarn. So it already looks a little bit thicker, which I like because it will make the cream kind of a little bit fatter, and it will come out a little bit like real cream does in a cake. So this is a cute little item you could give to someone who doesn't eat cake or is allergic to cake. Someone like me who's celiac, who can't usually eat or find cake. Or it's just a cute little item that kids love. We can use it for so many things. Oh my, it's too curly, this one. So again, I'm doing row 1 right now. I'm single crocheting. If you are crocheting along with me and you are faster or slower than me, let me know, and I can maybe slow down or speed up for my next video. I always appreciate feedback. Just careful if it does get twisted that you can still see that you're still going into the top back loop of the chain. So you can always smooth out your chain so that if it gets twisted, do not go into those back loops. Just keep always going into the top of the V. Another reason why on the second row I like to go into both stitches. I don't have that problem then. All right, coming to the end of round 1. It is faster since we have 10 less stitches than the colored one. Oops. Sorry, try that last stitch again. There we go. Chain 1 and turn. Round 2, again, single crochet all the way across 39 stitches. This will be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and the last one for this row, 39. Okay, so now is when you want to check for your preference. So this is 2 rows, and for me, this is fat enough. So because I said my yarn is a little bit different, they are actually the same size. 3 rows in the purple and 2 rows in the white are almost identical. So I don't want it to be too fat. We want them to be as close as possible to each other. So we are now finished the inner color. So you can cut your string and weave in your ends. Now, if it is much smaller than the colored part, you can do 3 rows as well. So again, it depends on which yarn you have. If you have identical yarn in just different colors, then you should do 3 rows with this, the same as we did in the colored. Just quickly weave in these ends, and then we are going to glue. My scissors got a little gluey earlier, it seems, so they're kind of not the best at cutting today. All right. So now, line up on top of the color, the white one. So let's see how we're doing here. Okay, so it's 10. I'm gonna just put the white right in the middle because it is 10 stitches smaller. It will be about 5 stitches on each side smaller. Just line it up. You can also use tape on a table to tape these up. get so twisted. Okay, so now we are going to glue them together. So once I kind of matched up what they should look like, I'm going to undo this pin and I'm going to put a layer of glue. Now, hot glue works really well, but I tend to injure myself with hot glue, so I prefer this Scotch glue. And we're just going to lay it down gently on there. Don't use super glue or anything because you might get some on your fingers. Okay, and then we are going to do another layer of glue on the very top, and we're gonna just roll it up. So I'll just do a layer here, and I'm going to roll it. So we start with just the purple one here, and oh my, see, I already got some glue on my fingers. I'll turn it this way, and just roll, roll, roll. Roll cake, roll it up. Roll, roll, and pin that little end. I got glue on my fingers. There we go. And we have our roll cake. If a little is crooked before the glue dries, just line it up. And you have your roll cake. So all we have left to do is the cherry topping. So we can put this aside to dry a little bit while we get started with the cherry topping. And again, if the layers are not really perfect, you can adjust them before the glue dries, which is why I really don't like hot glue, because that's much harder to do with hot glue. All right, so put that aside and move on to the topping. The topping is quite simple. So as you can see here, I have a little white like whipped cream and a cherry. So we'll start with the whipped cream. So again, with the same color that you used for the middle, or with any color for the icing. You're going to start with a magic loop. So magic loop I like to do on my finger like this. But you can also do from the slip knot a chain. So once you have a magic loop on there, you're going to do 10 single crochets inside the magic loop. So we go right into the magic loop, pull it through and do a single crochet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull on the end to tighten it up. Attach to the first stitch with a slip stitch. So go into that first V of the first single crochet and just pull through. You have this cute little circle. So into the next stitch, you're going to do a bobble stitch. So what I do is I wrap my yarn, I go into the V, into the single crochet. I'm going to pull through 1, so I have 3 loops on my needle. I'm going to wrap it again, go through that same spot, wrap it through 1 again, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on my needle. Wrap it and pull through all 5. So it's kind of like a bobble stitch. There we go. In the next stitch, I'm going to slip stitch, slip stitch. So just pull it through. And then a bobble stitch again. So wrap, go through, pull through 1, wrap, go through, pull through 1. When you have 5 on your needle, pull through all 5. And then slip stitch in the next. And repeat that all the way around so you'll have 5 of the little bobbles. So we so far have 2. We'll do another one. 3, slip stitch. This one is number 4, slip stitch. The final one, number 5. Sorry, my fingers are all caked with glue now. And slip stitch into the final one, cut and finish off. Now the one you just finished from, you can weave in. However, the string from the beginning circle, we're gonna leave that for now because we will secure the cherry with that string. It doesn't have to be very long, just long enough to tie. So I'm just weaving in this one string. It doesn't have to be that pretty because we're not gonna see from the bottom. So I have just that center one. Don't pull it too tight because we're gonna put the cherry through the top. So that is the icing, it's all finished. Finally, the cherry, which I think is the easiest one. We are going to do a slip stitch, slip knot, and we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I recommend leaving a little bit of a longer string for this because we're gonna use it to tie it onto the cake. Now in the first stitch, you're gonna do one of those bobbles like we just learned from the icing. So we're gonna go into the first stitch here, pull it up, wrap, go through the same spot, pull it up again. When you have 5 on your needle, pull through all 3, do 1 chain and finish off, cut and pull through. That cherry is the easiest one. It took like less than a minute to make. Now, both of these cherry strings, we're gonna pull through the center of the icing. So I just put my needle through the center, hook it onto these cherries and pull it through. So we have the little cherry popping out the top of the icing, and we're gonna tie these strings together at the bottom, nice and secure. Maybe do another knot. You can choose which string you want to use, and you can either glue it to the top or you can sew it through. I prefer to sew it through, and I just use the red strings. So I just cut off the white. I attach both of the little red ones to my tapestry needle. I just stab it through the top, out through the center, which is truthfully a bit tough to do if the glue is not fully dry. Just pull it through, and then just like you do for the Amigurumi dolls, go back through that exact same hole and up to the top through the cherry again. When it's up through the top, I just cut it off. So this way, if we have any flyaway strings, they are just gonna be like an addition to the little cherry top there. And if you want for extra hold, you can add a tiny bit of glue there too, if you want to glue on that top. But again, it's your preference. And we are finished our roll cake. Isn't it so cute? So thank you for watching. I hope you have fun making your own little roll cakes. Again, you can make these into a key ring or anything you want. You can sew them onto things. And I like the fatter ones. But if you just do 2 rows, it will look like this. Be a skinnier one.